Captain Mac here, and welcome to the next installment in the life of a virtual cargo pilot. So as I'm recording this right now, I just uploaded the next episode in the life of a virtual airline pilot this morning. The second episode in the life of a virtual cargo pilot, try not to get confused between the two, I know it's difficult, is actually already uploaded, it's just not made public yet. But the first episode, boy, I'll tell you what, it's gotten a pretty great response. And I think you guys will like the second one and this one and future episodes even better. But I was just really surprised. Got a lot of views, a lot of people seem to really like that. So that's fantastic, which really motivates me. I'm going to keep driving forward. Now, you know how some days you can only take so much, guys? Today's one of those days for me. What I was working on here a little while ago was our next installment in Unusual, Difficult, and Dangerous Approaches. I'm not going to tell you which one it was, but I am going to tell you this. After 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tries. 7 tries. That's right. I'm not kidding. 7 times and I still couldn't get it. And I've landed there before. It is no joke. Okay? Very difficult. And I had to restart it. It was so bad. Now, I kept the recordings of the really bad approaches because I know some of you want to see those. I know some of you are like, oh, we want to see where you screw it up. Okay, well, you're going to get to see those. But in the interim, I would restart and restart the flight sim, all that stuff, and then the flight sim wasn't working right, and then I was getting runtime, and it was just I got to the point where I said enough's enough. That's it. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna shoot some holes into some targets. So I went to go do some shooting because I like to shoot guns, and for those of you who are against that, well, I'm sorry, but I like to shoot guns. I was a Marine for 14 years. So anyway, I'm just giving you guys a hard time. So I was going to go do some shooting, and I was going to take one of my daughters with me, and then my youngest daughter is like barfing all over the place, like everywhere. She's just puking left and right. She's 3 years old, which for any of you who have little kids or have kids at all, you know that when they're little, from like 2 to probably 5-ish. Well, even below 2 is, I suppose, even worse. But really, basically, up until they're about 5 years old, when they throw up, it's terrifying because you're constantly worried they're going to choke. And so that's, anyway. So, yeah, finally got all of that taken care of, and I thought, okay, we're going to do a flight with National. So here we are with National Virtual Airlines once again, and we're going to do something a little different today. Now, National has put out the call for skilled pilots to take care of these contracts with the Virtual Air Force. And I touched on these briefly before, but here's the deal. We're in the middle of an operation right now. Or rather, the Virtual Air Force is in the middle of an operation. I think it's called Red Flag. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's called Red Flag. And National has been contracted to fly a bunch of equipment for them. And even though we are all the way down in TNCM, National said, we love you, you're an amazing pilot, you're one of our best, Captain Mac, you're one of our best. So we're going to fly you up here to KLGB so that you can take care of one of these flights for this contract for us. That's not how it really went down. We all know that's not how it really went down, but humor me, okay? So here's the deal. I want to talk about this real quick, then we're going to dive right in because I don't want to take... Actually, you know what? There's a couple things I want to give you on this, or I want to tell you about this, but first let's just take a look at what our flights are going to be. So in order to complete one mission, you must fly out and back. So we're going to take cargo from KLGB to KINS in our 747. But we must complete the return flight, this one down here, KINS to KLGB, in order for the mission to be complete, and that's critical. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to hop in. Let's take a look at the pilot briefing here. Basic information, we're leaving out of Long Beach, should be a good time. I haven't ever flown out of there. And into Indian Springs Air Force Auxiliary, never been in there either, so that's going to be a good time. Departure times is Quad 0 Zulu, arriving 0100 is basically very short flight. I don't know if, I'm pretty sure those times are dark where we're at right now in the real world. We're going to fly during light because that's what I like to do. It's CRAF flight for Operation Red Flag. I was right, for Red Flag. Nellis for Virtual U.S. Air Force Pickup and Transport number 240. So that's the flight we're going to be doing. We're going to hop on over into the sim. We're going to take care of APPRs and all that stuff. And then I want to tell you a couple more things about this because this is actually really cool. So let's hop over to the sim and do that. Alright, here we are then with our A cars really quick. Remember the smart car is pretty simple. We're just going to select the flight we want, which is this one here, KLGB to KINS. Select fly, and I've already gone ahead and copied the flight plan I'm going to be using. No? Wow, that was interesting. National A Cars Smart Cars. That's good to know. That's not what I wanted though. Let's just type it in here real quick. It is Anaheim 6. That's our planned departure for today. SLI direct. You actually don't have to type in direct. DAG, and then Juliet 100 Airway to Las Vegas, and then we'll be direct from there. Let's see our planned altitude. Let's see. They got 330 on here. Yep, that's what we're going with, 330. So 330, we are not flying online today. I will probably get to that eventually. I know I talked about it briefly. Let's not stress about it for the moment. Okay, so I'll hit generate load. I don't know what that does, but basically we're ready to go at this point. So we'll click on start. All right, pre-flight started. There's the aircraft we're in. We're good to go. Let's shrink that down. There's our beautiful airplane. I want to show you a couple other things real quick. I want to start here. Let's look at our flight plan. Now, according to the profile I have for this aircraft in PFPX, we need 37,297 pounds is our release fuel. Okay, I have a couple issues with that. First of all, it's got our alternate of Las Vegas at only 9,000 pounds. It's going to take more than 9,000 pounds. That's not 20 minutes of endurance on this airplane as far as I can tell. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, I just don't think it fully accounts for the fuel because I don't think it's including the fact that there's 24,000 pounds of unusable fuel in this thing. So, here's what we went with. Now remember, this is a converted freighter. That's why it's the tri-class model. So the max cargo weight we're going to be able to get in here is 112,000 pounds because I can't fill up these seats. I guess I could, try and throw in, 2/3 packs or something like that. But then if I start putting in all this cargo here, I think we're going to get over our max takeoff weight. I don't know. Let's see. Zero fuel weight, max is 542. Let's try it with 1/3 packs. Ugh. It's kind of obnoxious the way you got to do this because I want to maximize my cargo. The only reason I'm putting packs in there is going on the assumption that weight is weight, right? That's all I care about is weight. So packs weight and cargo weight. I don't know if that's going to give me more cargo for this flight. You get where I'm coming from? I don't really know, and I'm hoping one of the guys from National will see this and maybe comment on that because if I'm not getting credit for the weight for packs, then why put packs in there? So we're going to go with 0. We're going to stick with 112,000 pounds. I wish that we could do more than that. If it was the freighter version, we could, but remember, it's a converted freighter. All right, so we're stuck with 112,000 for now. All right, so I went ahead and I put the fuel at 77,000. Now, understand this. I know that that's more fuel than what's required by the flight plan. However, 24,000 pounds of that is useless, and I don't think this is accounting for the 24,000 because I did one flight where I did run out of fuel. It's about the time I hit 24,000 pounds. So if you're going to run out of fuel at 24,000 pounds and this doesn't account for that, I mean, it says the trip fuel 17,000, minimum takeoff 36. I just don't think it accounts for it. So we're going with 77,000. That gives us all the fuel we need plus contingency fuel, which I think their contingency is a little low. And then I included a little bit of captain's fuel in there. So send that to FSX. It's loaded. We're good to go. And we can drag that over there and out of the way for now. Drag the flight plan over there and out of the way. And now, here's what I want to talk to you about today. Let me click on this and get rid of that little menu bar. All right. So we're doing a flight it's a contract flight for the virtual Air Force. Okay, so when we do a cargo contract for them, they tell us how much we need or how much they need, and we carry as much as we can on each flight. Now, in order for the mission to be complete, we got to fly the cargo out from its origin, which in this case is Long Beach, to its destination, and then we have to fly back to the origin. All right, and I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put the return flight on here as a video or not. I mean, we're not carrying anything, so I don't know if there's any point in that, but maybe we will, maybe we won't. You guys throw something down in the comments. Let me know if you want to see the return flight as an episode in the life of Virtual Cargo Pilot. So here's the deal. We're the only VA, and when I say we, I'm talking about National. National is the only virtual airline on the internet to have an integrated system with the virtual U.S. Air Force through VATSIM. And what it means is when a virtual U.S. Air Force pilot loads their APPR program and the aircraft that they're going to fly is damaged or needs supplies or repairs or whatever it is they're going to do, they send a cargo request to us. We have to fly to the nearest military base where the parts or cargo are located, which in this case the cargo is located at Long Beach, which isn't a military base. I don't know if it's got an auxiliary or not. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, we fly to wherever they tell us to pick up the cargo, load them, and then fly it to the location where it's needed. And then their APPRs will actually update and tell them, now you've got the equipment you need, now you can fly. They can't fly unless they get the stuff. And that is so cool to me. So this flight I'm about to do, when I go out and back, is actually going to allow a pilot from the virtual U.S. Air Force to conduct his flight, his or her flight. They can't do the flight unless they get the equipment. How cool is that? So it's actually integrated together. So this flight's actually critical to the virtual U.S. Air Force. Even though the only thing I have to do with them is that I'm doing a contract flight through National, virtual U.S. Air Force is counting on me to make this flight. And I think that's really cool. And then in addition to that, National has a really cool thing they do. And I think this is fantastic. I've never seen another virtual airline that does this. So every month, they give away a $25 gift card that I think it's for add-ons. I'm not sure if they just give you a random gift card or if it's like a credit at a store, but they give you a $25 gift card and or flight sim add-ons to the pilot of the month. So whichever pilot has the most flights and stuff like that during the month, he gets 25 bucks. Basically, you're getting 25 bucks. And if you're like me, and there's probably 500 different things I still want to get for my flight simulator, but I'm always short on money, 25 bucks would be pretty awesome, right? So I just want to throw that out there. If you're looking for a challenge, let me tell you, come on over to National Virtual Cargo and you get an opportunity to earn real world money. It ain't much, but hey, 25 bucks, that's 25 bucks, man. And on top of that, they do things like flying into McMurdo Station during one of the virtual Air Force missions they fly is into McMurdo Station during Operation Deep Freeze. And I've never flown in there, but I have a feeling that that's not easy to do. So it's just really cool stuff like that that National's got going on that really excites me. And these contracts with the virtual U.S. Air Force are just awesome. I think this is fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to getting this flight done. I've yapped long enough about that. I think what we're going to have to do at this point is we're going to have to hop in here and get started, because if you haven't noticed, the flights in the 747 have all been a little bit longer, and that's because there's a lot more going on. So let's go ahead and get started with what we got going on if this thing ever loads. There it is. All right. So we're going to jump right into our checklist here. Fuel has been loaded. Flight plan has been created. FSX is obviously started. We're in a cold and dark state, as we should be. Fuel, it says load fuel twice. Oh, the first time it says with the configurator. Well, I showed you that already. Let's see. Departure and arrival weather has been grabbed already. We'll talk about that a little more later. Doors are supposed to be open. There's actually a trick to opening all the doors on this. I'm not going to mess with it right now, so let's just pretend doors are open. Use our imagination here. Alright, so now we're ready to get started. And let's start by turning the battery on this. This guy right here automatically closes the cover for you. Standby power goes to auto. Right click it once and there you have it. Bus tie switches go to auto. Come on, brain work. Where's bus tie? Here's all the bus tie switches. They're all on auto already. Generator control switches go on. That's these guys here. They're all on but off. Interesting. Now, the drive disconnect. You remember I hit that during my first flight. I got a couple of comments from guys. One in particular who actually worked on 747s in the real world. And here's the deal: if you turn that off in here, it's permanently disconnected. It has to be reconnected outside the aircraft. Something you have to do on the ground. Something that I can't do without restarting the sim. It's something that a maintenance guy would do. And that's why we couldn't get it to come back on. So note to self: don't disconnect the drives. Hydraulic demand pump switches 1 through 3 all need to be off. 1, 2, and 3. And then number 4 needs to be on auxiliary. There she is right there. And then engine hydraulic pump selectors all need to be on. That's these 4 right here, and those are all on. External power switch, if available, needs to be on. We don't have external power available, which means we're going to roll right into the APU startup, and it's actually quite simple. Now, it will automatically grab fuel where it needs it, so all we're going to do is right-click twice, and we're going to let it fire up. Shouldn't take too long. And then while that's doing that, let's go ahead and look at a couple other things. We're not going to need any panel lights. I'm only starting this flight actually an hour prior to its scheduled departure time, so our actual departure will only be about a half hour early, and that should just give us light for the entire trip. Electric engine control switches need to be normal and saved. Electric engine control switches. Wait, what am I missing here? Normal and saved. Oh, these ones right up here. Open for access. Doesn't do anything. We'll leave that alone. Utility power switch. Left needs to be on and right needs to be on. That's these 2 here. Those are both coming on. Nav lights need to be on. Where are you at? Nav lights. Nav lights. There we go. Nav lights coming on. APU's available. Let's go ahead and flip that on now. 1 and 2. APU generators 1 and 2. Logo lights. It says to turn them on. Again, normally we'd be flying at night, so you definitely want them on. And then wing lights need to be on as well. Emergency lights need to be armed. I just saw those a second ago. I'm still kind of getting a feel for where everything is in this airplane, so bear with me on that. One of you's looking at it right now going, it's right in front of your face. Wow. I just heard like a big bang upstairs. I hope nobody got hurt. I don't hear any screaming, so that's good. Where's my emergency lights? How am I not seeing? This is one thing I dislike about the startup procedures. You kind of bounce all over here. It's not, to me, it's not much of a flow. So you really got to get used to it. Where are the emergency lights that I'm supposed to arm? I'm losing my mind. Emergency lights armed. Are they not on here for some reason? Oh. Sorry guys, I'm struggling a little trying to find the emergency lights, and I just went through all this and did just fine, right? Didn't have any problems, everything was good. And now, you know what, the emergency lights must be down below or something. That must be what it is. I'll bet they're down here. Let's see. I'll just turn those on so that it's already done. Auto brakes. Where's emergency lights? Oh, good Lord. Help me now. I probably look like a complete fool, but you know what? Such is the life of a virtual pilot, right? I fly so many different airplanes I can't keep up anymore. I can't find the emergency lights. It's staring me in the face. I'm going to see it eventually, and then I'm going to go, oh, duh. But in the meantime, we're going to move on, because otherwise we're going to be here all day looking for emergency lights. IRS alignment. They're supposed to start in the off position, so let's turn them off. And then we're going to align them. So they go to nav first and then align. So, oh, I hate that. One click goes to nav, and then turn it. I don't know what ATT is. And then turn them back to align. There we go. And then we should be able to see down here. I'll pop it up for you. 7+ minutes to alignment. So we're good to go there. Next page of our checklist. And this takes us right into FMC setup, so let's go ahead and just jump right on down here and get started on that. FMC, let's put them both on that. We don't need anything else in there. We do have the proper AIRAC cycle, so we're good to go on that. Position initialization, we're going to need to put this guy in, so go to position initialization, click next page once, grab this guy right here, click one of those words, click previous page, and put it in right there. And there you go. Now it's telling us enter IRS position. We just did that, so we're good to go. Now let's look at our route. And we're going to fly a company route today. It's going to be KLGB. Where are you at? KLGB to KINS. KINS. And the flight designator is 01. Put that right here in company route. Give it a second. It'll find it. It has. Click activate. Execute. And jackpot, we're good to go. Flight number is going to be flight number 11. Hold on just one second while I talk to my 4-year-old. What?
Somebody's at the door.
Somebody's at the door. Okay, I'm going to go answer the door. We'll be right back, folks. Alright, quick check of the door. That was taken care of. It was one of my daughter's friends, so we're good on that. Okay, so flight number is 11 for us. So we're good there. Now we can go to performance initialization. And zero fuel weight, we could type it in or you can just click on it and it's going to put it in for you. 506.1 thousand pounds. Reserves, remember the minimum is 24,000, so we put in 77, we needed 37, so we're looking at that's what, that's 40,000, so we're looking at 20, wait, minus 4, 16,000, 16.0. There we go. A little math in my head real quick. Cost index is going to be 75 for us. I haven't seen anything anywhere that requires a specific cost index by national. So that's what we're going to go with. Flight level 330 for us today. We should have no problem reaching that altitude. And off the thrust limit. We're going to do full takeoff. No problem there. We'll be doing flaps 10. Here we go. Flaps 10. Had to clear my throat a little. And of course it gives us our V speeds, but we haven't put in our departure and all that good stuff yet. So, had to shrink something down there. Let's go departure, arrival. And it's going to be Anaheim 6. And let's grab our runway here. I'm going to show you how you guys have seen this before, but I'm going to show you how I do it anyway. Grab our weather report from Active Sky 2012. Wind is 190 at 6 knots. And 3003 on the pressure. So we're good there. Alright, so that's going to mean we're going to be taking runway 12. And the reason for that is all the other runways are really short here. Runway 12 is 3,050 meters. Everything else, what do you got? 1730, 1300, 1890, and 1650. So those are some short runways. So we're going to go with the longer one. So runway 12 for us. We'll select that one. Transition, we don't need a transition. We'll do Anaheim 6 and then straight on out to our next waypoint. So we're good there. Activate that. Go to route. And let's see. Back to performance initialization. Thrust limit was good. Takeoff. Now we can take our V speeds there. And we're good to go there. Jump over to our legs page real quick. Vectors on the way out. And then to SLI, DAG, missing. Then CLAR, then LAS. No route discontinuities. Just wanted to make sure that nothing's getting repeated either. Alright, so we're good to go on our FMC setup. Hit our progress page over here. It's saying we're going to have about 57,000 left, but remember you got to subtract 24 from that. So, what's next? Where are we at? FMC is done. IRS switches. Let's see how we're doing there. We can put those, we should be 4 minutes. Yep. So we can click those, I believe, back to nav now. I believe that's what we did last time. There we go. And it didn't cause a problem, so we should be good to go there. And we might as well stay up there, actually. Fuel pumps. Let's see. All need to be off. Center stab, main 1 and 4, override main 2 and 3. We're going to leave the fuel pumps as they are because they turn themselves on, so I'm going to assume they're proper. Fuel crossfeed on. All 4 switches. One. That one's on. Ding. And that's probably telling me... let's see here. Where's it at? Let's pop it up for you. Fuel tank. This little warning right here is the warning that tells us we don't actually need these on. So we're going to turn those off, and you'll see that warning is now gone. See? All gone. Okay, great. Moving on. Nacelle anti-ice is off. Wing anti-ice is off. Window heat needs to be turned on or enabled. And I know it's right in front of my face. There it is. Window heat is enabled. Where are we at? Yaw dampers need to go on. That's these two over here. They were on. They're inoperative right now because we have no hydraulics. APU switch has already been started because I jumped ahead a little bit. APU generators are on. Passenger temperature needs to be on auto. And even though we don't actually have passengers, we're going to make sure that that's on auto. Flight deck temperature is on auto. Trim air needs to be on. It is. Upper recirculation and lower recirculation fans both need to be on. There they are. Gasper needs to come on. Gasper. That's kind of a funny name for that. Pack switches 1 through 3 all need to be on normal. 1, 2, and 3. Left and right isolation valves need to be open. And the light has to be extinguished. APU bleed needs to be on. That's where we messed up last time, or on our first flight. Okay, FMC is done. I don't know why it goes into FMC again. Flight plan's good. Speed is speed at flight plan. Oh, it wants you to calculate it. Why would I calculate it when the FMC does it for me? Departure time, we're fine. It says to enter the departure time. Can you enter the departure time on here? Let's have a look. UTC. No, the time's, I think the time's about right. Yeah, like I told you, we're about a half hour early, so we'll leave that as is. IFAS mode main panel needs to be on map, and we're good there. Let's see. Ground control, we don't need to talk to them. IFR request is done, blah blah blah. A lot of these things we're not doing because we're not talking to ATC. Squawk is set 1200. Altimeter is set to actual atmospheric pressure. We said 3003. So let's scroll down. Let me pop it up so you can see it here. 3003. That's the wrong way. Go the other way. Come on. Come on now. What is it doing here? Come on. No matter which way I scroll, it's going down. There we go. You got to right click to get it to go up, I guess. That's kind of weird. Okay, it is what it is. 3003 is what we're looking for. There it is. Shrink that back down. Flight director needs to be on. There's two of them, 1 and 2. There we go. They're both on. Enter V2 speed into the indicated airspeed. What was our V2? I didn't look. Did you? Let's take a look. Route. Cycle through these real quick. 154 is what they want us to enter in there, so we'll enter that. I'm gonna leave it at 200. 154 is low, isn't it? LNAV and VNAV both need to be armed. We just got a little ding for something. FMC message, enter IRS position. We already did that. What are you talking about? It's entered in there. Right? Let's take a look. 3349. 3349. It made me do it again for some reason. That was kind of weird. Oh well, IRS is aligned now, so we're good on that. Put that back to the legs page. And let's see. LNAV and VNAV both need to be armed. LNAV and VNAV are now armed. First altitude needs to be set. When we take a look at our departure briefing, we'll see where we're at for that. Autopilot disengage bar needs to be up. That's this one here. It is up. Fuel control switches cut off. They are all cut off. We're good to go there. Trim settings, check same as FMC number 1/7 with number off. What the heck? I don't even understand what that means. Does this tell us index? Where's takeoff page? Takeoff page. It does not give us a trim setting, does it? No, it does not. And there's no second page here, so I'm not really sure where you're supposed to get your trim settings from to match the FMC. So we'll move on for now. Auto brake needs to be to RTO. We need to zoom out here. Auto brake is down here, isn't it? Yep. Auto brake. Come on. RTO. Where are we at? There we are. TCAS switch. Test and then standby. Testing. And it'll tell us when it's done. It'll say TCAS test.
System test okay.
There we go. And it's on standby now. We're good to go. It says to put it on TARA with the above bias, which is, you got to switch that one up. But why would we put it on TARA when we haven't even pushed back yet? I don't think we're supposed to do that. That's weird. No smoking. Seatbelts are as they should be. Flight door is closed and locked. We got to press the traffic button on here so that we actually get traffic warnings once we turn our TCAS on. Fuel pumps are all on. Cross feeds are as they should be. And that's going to bring us right up to the pushback and engine start checklist. So let's, well, we'll roll into that here in just a second. Alright, so while I was off screen, I just checked to see if it would work, and of course it won't. No GSX for this parking position either. You can see the little push cart there is buried halfway in the building, and even though I set the parking position to take the aircraft this size, didn't work. It's not a cargo spot. It's all they have is general aviation large, which of course this is much larger than a general aviation large, but whatever. So we're going to go ahead and do our own pushback. So stairs are away, doors are closed. Let's see. We don't need to request a push and start. Beacon light needs to come on. Let's go ahead and take care of that. Beacon light is now on. Hydraulic demand pump switches 1 through 3 need to be on auto. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go ahead and start pushing now. And hydraulic demand pump switch number 4 needs to be on auxiliary, which it is. Pack 1 needs to be on, and the other 2 need to be off. It's 1 on and all off, or 1 on and 2 off, or all off, either way. Engine bleed air switches all need to come on. There we go. ICUS is on the engine page already. Clear messages. Let's make sure we don't push back too far either. Cancel. And we're pretty much just about there. We're going to be hanging a right, so won't be a problem. We're going to end up on the grass a little bit. Nothing I can do about that. So I'm just waiting for it to push back a little further. There we go. That'll work. We're already on the grass at this point. So park and brake set. It is. Jump back up here, and let's see. Okay, auto start switch needs to be on. If it's not already, it is. Continuous ignition needs to go on. Fuel control switches 1 and 4 need to go to the run position. So we'll hop down here. 1 and 4 need to go to the run position. And then the start selectors need to be pulled. So we will pull 1 and 4. And 1 and 4 should be starting. Well, you can't see nothing from that view, can you? Alright, we can see the engine temperature coming up. N2, let's pop it up for you here. N2 is starting to come up a little bit. So the engine should fire here shortly. Just waiting on those. And once they're done, then we'll do the same thing for engines 2 and 3. Let them stabilize for a second. This will take just a second. Engine startup's a little slow. That's the way it is. Just one of the reasons that the flights take a little bit longer with when we're using the 747 Vice, when we're using something like the ER, or not the ERJ, but the E-Jet, the 195. Obviously, the startup's much quicker on that. It's got that FADEC system in it, and it's only got 2 engines. Okay, those are stabilized. Let's go ahead and flip on the fuel control for these 2 here. Hop up top. 2 and 3 are starting. And let's look at what's next. Next will be turning off the APU and the APU bleed air. Packs will go to normal. Well, this is after the engines are started. I'm just kind of reading down the list so that we can just go through it. Hydraulic demand pump 4 will need to go to auto. Engine wing anti-ice on under 10 degrees Celsius. It's 22, so we're good. Main display, check for warnings. And then it'll be taxi lights, flaps. We can probably do flaps right now. Go flaps 10. That's what we're doing for our takeoff. Bring in just a little bit more trim just in case. And what else? Next will be the taxi checklist, and we're not there yet. So let's finish up here. Just waiting for those to stabilize. Once that's done, then we can turn off the APU and do all the other fun stuff that we need to do. Alright, looks like they're stabilized now. APU can go off. Oh, is there anything else I need to do first? No, I'm thinking of the E195. Okay, off. And APU off. Did we get any warnings? No, everything's still working. Good. We can go ahead and we can turn this one to auto. We're good there. What else? Engine wing anti-ice we don't need. Main display's good. Taxi lights can go on at this point. Taxi lights are now on. Flaps are already selected, and pushback is now complete. So, if y'all will give me just a second here, I'm going to do as I always do. Take care of a couple last minute checks. Make sure I didn't miss anything so I don't look a fool. And then we'll kick off this taxi. It is a never-ending adventure in my house. I paused this about 10 minutes ago to do my final checks, and then I heard my 4-year-old crying, and it turns out he decided to walk around with his eyes closed, and he ran into a wall and bit his lip, and now his lip's bleeding. What a doofus. Okay, let's take care of our taxi checklist real quick. We'll pull out let's see. Taxi clearance has already been received, basically. Taxiways, we've already noted that. And I'll give you a little brief on that here in a minute. We don't need ground guidance. Flight controls free and correct. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. And that is... which one? It's not status, I don't think. No. Come on. Electronics, fuel, engine, environmental control systems, hydraulics. Doors are all closed. Gear. Isn't there a flight control switch on here? I thought there was. I guess I'm wrong. Anyway, we'll just do it real quick. Full left, full right, neutral, full up. They're always, all that little bouncing is annoying. Full down, neutral, rudders full left, and rudders full right, and we are rocking and rolling. All right, turn on the track IR. Always a good time. How it just jumps around on you. And when you see me do this a lot of times, it's because I'm looking at my checklist. Alright, so we're going to go to taxi out. So let's go ahead and do that. We can turn off our brakes. Or not turn off, but shut off, whatever you want to call it. Release. And let's get some throttle in there. And we'll be banging a right here immediately once we get moving. If we get moving. Come on, you old bird. There, she's starting to creep forward. There we go. Once it gets going, then it wants to go, right? So we want to make sure we don't go too fast. We're not looking to zip around here like a race car driver or anything like that. Our wings will have no problem going over the top of all that stuff, so we're good to go there. Nice sharp turn, and we are on our taxiway here. So let's go ahead and, as I start this taxi out here, let's go ahead and take care of our taxi brief real quick and our departure briefing. There it is. That's the word I was looking for, departure briefing. Alright, as already mentioned, it's the Anaheim 6 departure for us today. We're taking runway 12, which is going to take us at 121 degrees. We're not going to go to Seal Beach. We're just going to assume vectors straight to Paradise or PDZ VOR. So after we climb out a little bit here, we'll hang a left and try and find an intercept course between PDZ and Apples. We need to be at or above 10,000 feet at Apples. We shouldn't have any problems with that. And then from Apples, we'll hang a slight right out towards DAG, which is up and over this way. Keep in mind, well, not keep in mind, there's no real altitude restrictions except that we need to be at or above 1,600 feet before we get vectored. It doesn't really say. It just says at or above 1,600 feet at the end of this, excuse me, a little hiccup there, at the end of this little arrow. Okay, fantastic. Let's take a look. There's a text version real quick. For taking off from runway 12, climb heading 121 degrees to 1,600 thence, or after that, if you're doing a Hector or Lake Hughes transition, expect vectors to SLI Vortac. If you're doing a Ventura transition, expect vectors to LAX Vortac. We're not doing that. Via transition or assigned route, we're going to just assume assigned route out to PDZ, maintain assigned altitude, and expect filed altitude 10 minutes after departure. So there is your departure briefing. Alright, let's take care of our before takeoff checklist here real quick. We would have been handed off to the tower by now. Landing lights need to come on. That's all of these guys. Runway turn off lights. Taxi can stay on. Strobe lights need to come on. Transponder and TCAS. We need to take that to, come on, TARA. We've already got it set to tilt above, so we're good there. And we can pull onto the runway, and we're not going to stop on the runway. We're going to roll right into our takeoff because we're ready to go. So it'll just be engaging the auto throttles with the toga mode and up and away. And then once we're airborne, we'll look at our after takeoff / climb checklist. So what do you say we get going? Sorry, couldn't think of what I actually wanted to say there. What do you say we get going, eh? All right. The approach path is clear. I know this because we're basically pointed in the opposite direction of the runway we're taking off on right now. And what I would like to do, or try to remember to do anyway, is put the rotate the heading selector knob to the runway heading once we're lined up here. So try and stay on the taxiway. The back end of that aircraft, sometimes it'll roll off the taxiway if you cut that turn too sharp. Plenty of runway to work with here. We should have no problems getting off the ground. Probably do another cool cinematic view of the airplane taking off. I enjoy those. I hope that you guys do too, because they're a lot of fun. It's kind of like plane spotting, only in FSX, right? Kind of cool. Can't really do it with the AI traffic, because the AI traffic has pretty much lost its mind. So it's not really very intelligent. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can get the heading set here. 120 is where it should be, so come on. I'm just letting it coast down a little bit here. We'll be fine. Ugh, come on, stop moving. A little too far. Alright, we're good to go. Let's do this. Throttle's up. My toga button of choice does not work for whatever reason, so we'll use the little hidden click switch there. Pull to the left a little bit on us, but we're good. Keep her as best we can down the center of the runway. Cross check.
V1. Rotate. V2.
Oh, bull, it is not stalling. I know I went over the top of the, let's go ahead and get the gear up. I went over the flight director just a little bit. And zoom that out just a little. Okay, remember we're on vectors right now, so we would be expecting to hear from ATC. We're just going to climb out here for a second, then we'll start heading towards PDZ over here. We're heavy, but we're not that heavy. Alright, there's our 1,000-foot mark. We'll go ahead and start making our turn now. Watch and make sure we don't start to descend any. Get ourselves lined up here. And then, for whatever reason, it's a glitch or something. I don't know. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. We're going to have to change PDZ to our next waypoint. Otherwise, if we try to engage the autopilot, it's going to fly back to where we just took off from. We don't want that. Alright, we're on an intercept course here. LNAV and VNAV are already armed. Let me go ahead and turn track IR off, hop down here real quick. So what you got to do is, because we're on vectors, just highlight PDZ, put it right there, execute. And as soon as that kicks in, there it goes. We can hit autopilot. There she is. Let the autopilot do its thing. Started climbing a little quick there. Actually, you got to do that fast. Again, it's one pilot doing the workload of two, so you got to be careful with that because you don't want to go too slow. The whole stick shaker thing was ridiculous. We weren't even close to stalling. I overshot the flight director on purpose. I wanted a slightly steeper climb out just for the fun of it. We were not about to stall that aircraft, though. That's just retarded. So as we pass the number 5 on here, it is at that point that we can roll the flaps up to the setting of 5. That sounded like really choppy and retarded. We can go to flaps 5 as we pass the number on the tape here. So let me show you. There's 5. As our speed passes that number, we can go ahead and switch to flaps 5. There we go. I think I got it out. Okay, so we're just about to pass it right now. So bring the flaps up one setting. That puts us at flaps 5. And then when we cross the number 1 there, that's the next number you see on there, we can go to flaps 1. And we don't want our speed to go over 250. So if we see that speed change from 250 when we go to flaps 1, then we want to go ahead and take speed control ourselves and make sure it doesn't go above 250 until we get over 10,000 feet, because we're only at 4,000 feet right now. Alright, to flaps 1 then. There's flaps 1 coming up. And then same thing once again, once we pass the flaps up marker, that's that one right there, then we can go flaps up. Just about to pass it. There it goes. Flaps coming all the way up now. It'll take them a minute anyway. Keep an eye on that speed. Make sure it doesn't go over 250. You could even go so far as to left click right here. Now I have control of the speed. So if I change it Come on. You can see it changes on the tape there. Alright. So we'll leave it at 250 for the moment. Let's go ahead and take care of our climb checklist. Landing and taxi lights will come off once we cross 10,000 feet. Autopilot altitude and speed are to be set. We've got the altitude at 10,000 right now. There is actually no altitude restrictions, as you saw in the departure briefing. None that we need to worry about. So I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way up to 330 now. I probably should have done that before takeoff, but that's all right. We all make mistakes. And it'll take about 5 minutes to get there at the rate this thing turns. They should have an option for going like 1,000 feet per click or something, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. Alright, there we are, 330, so we're set there. We will allow the FMC to take control of the speed once we clear 10,000 feet. That way we know we don't overspeed. TCAS is good. Let's see, handoff to approach control, we don't need to worry about that. Engine and wing anti-ice we don't need. Altimeter will adjust once we get above 18,000 feet. And continuous ignition will need to go off. So let's go ahead and knock that off real quick. There we go, continuous ignition comes off. Back down here, and we are raring to go. Which means, that's right, you guessed it, ladies and germs. What is this, packs 2 and 3 off? What? We turned those back on, didn't we? Oh, did I miss them? Please tell me I didn't miss them. I mean, there's nobody back there, but packs off. That was during that. Ready. Let's see. Where does it say it? Packs. I see where it says packs off. I don't see where it says packs on. I didn't miss it. It's not on the checklist. Packs should come back on probably right after startup, right? Interesting. Okay, well, packs are on now. In case you're wondering where I got that from, it was a little warning that popped up here. We need the packs on because they control the pressure inside the aircraft as well. So just something to keep in mind. We're about to cross over 10,000 feet here. Once we do, we'll take the landing lights off, and then we will take some time for some of that wonderful obligatory elevator. Alright, so we're literally hitting top of altitude here at our for our come on brain function. We just hit our altitude for cruise, and we're already almost on top of drop. So we're gonna go right into the descent and approach checklist here. We've already got our airport information. We're gonna be taking runway 8. Auto brakes need to be set. We're gonna put them to 1 because we got plenty of runway to work with. Come on, turn. Oh, excuse me, still got the hiccups going on here. What else? FMC. So let me just show you what we got going on here. If you hit the departure arrival page, there are no approaches and there are no arrivals into KINS. So we chose runway 8 as a VFR approach, and then over here on our legs page, we added in 2 additional waypoints. And this is going to swing us out and around for runway 8 so that we're not trying to make a sharp turn on short final, because I don't like doing that. So we're all set up there. And then we'll be using VNAV for descent, runway altitude. There again, no chart, so I don't have any briefing for you. But runway altitude is going to be 3,134 feet at the touchdown zone, and it's going to be completely a visual VFR approach, which means we're going to be flying this thing pretty much all by hand. So good times. Looking forward to that. I mean that literally, even though that probably sounded sarcastic. I'm actually looking forward to that. So let's get ready for our descent here. Go ahead and scroll this on down, and it should automatically intercept the VNAV path here. We're coming up on Clar? Or is that Clark? I think that's Clar, isn't it? Yeah, C-L-A-R-R, Clar. Interesting. We're going to take this on down to 51. We'll just take down to 5,000 feet. And we'll keep an eye on it in case it looks like we're going to be getting too low or something because of mountains. I have no charts, no anything for this airport. Keep in mind, it's an Air Force... Oh, I overshot it there because I'm talking. Air Force auxiliary field, so it's not actually surprising that we don't have approach charts for it. Not that big a deal either. We're going to make it work. So I think what I'm going to do is... I don't think I'm going to record the flight back. The flight back, there's no cargo with it or anything like that. It's strictly for the purpose of completing the mission. You have to fly back to the original airport. Not sure why that is, but that's the only purpose of it. So I don't think I'm going to record a video out of that. What I probably will do is record it on FS Recorder and maybe make a cinematic out of it. Just a cinematic, you know, little 5 or 6 minute thing that just shows the takeoff, cruise, descent, and landing with none of me bumping my gums the whole time. But I haven't decided yet. So we'll see. By the time you guys see this video, I know I asked earlier for you guys to tell me what your thoughts were, but the truth is, by the time you guys see this video, I'm already going to have made the decision and done what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to leave you guys out of this one and make the decision on my own. That's pretty much it. It says, what are we looking at? We've got almost 20 miles to go, so we're all set up. Nothing else to brief at this point, so I think what we'll do is we'll just, when we're getting pretty close, I'll hop back on here and we'll take a look at where we're at and go through our landing checklist and all of that good stuff. So we'll see you guys here in a few minutes. Well, a few seconds for you, a few minutes for me. Alright, we're descending over the top of Las Vegas right now, and I want to go ahead and take care of this initial approach briefing. We've already gone ahead and obtained our ATIS briefing. There is no actual approach briefing to accomplish on this. We talked about it briefly. It's going to be a visual approach for runway 8. Decision height has been taken care of. Landing data has been checked and set. We're going to be at 145 with flaps full. Going to be moving pretty quick. Seatbelt selector remained on. ICUS recall. Let's go ahead and take care of that real quick. Clear my throat there again. Recall. Nothing. We're good there. What's next? Auto brake selector. We already set it to 1 or low. Wing lights are already on. Once we pass through transition level, obviously we'll change to the current barometric pressure setting for KINS. Flaps will be as required, and then we'll roll into our approach checklist next, which will be our final approach. So it'll be a few minutes before we do that. I will see you then. Alright, this is going to be interesting because where the runway actually is and where the airplane thinks it is are two different places. Our runway's up over here. The airplane thinks it's over there in the mountains. So I'm about to turn autopilot off real quick. I want to go through this. Flaps are set, gear is set, speed brake is armed. There is no ILS or anything like that, which means we're rolling right into hand flying. So let's hope I don't make a complete fool of myself here. Put that back up. My auto throttle stopped working a little while ago. I have no idea why. I'm just looking off to the side here. We're 8 miles out and we're at 6,000 feet. And my track IR is going friggin' bonkers. And I have no idea why. Okay, so you see this green area here? This is the run. Alright, turning that off. That's the runway right there, folks. Alright. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and turn VNAV off. We don't need that anymore. We might as well turn the auto throttle off. We're not going to need that anymore because it's not working anyway. And we are completely 100% visual approach here, hand flying the aircraft. We do have full flaps out and we have gear down, so we're good to go on that. I wish that my track IR was working, but unfortunately it's not. We're a little high, there's no doubt about that, but we'll let the aircraft just kind of settle. I don't want to force it down too quick, otherwise we're going to gain a ton of speed and we're already going a little faster than we want to be going anyway. We need to be about 145, we're at 150 right now. I'm pulling the throttles back nice and easy, and what I want to happen is I want the speed to bleed off and I want the aircraft to just kind of nose itself over. Because if we try to force it, especially an aircraft this big, we're going to be fighting with the throttles and fighting with the trim the whole way in, and we just don't want to be doing that. So even though we're a little high, we're not looking too bad. We'll just keep bringing the throttles back. It's okay. Our descent rate's at 1,500 feet per minute right now. We're going to reduce that here pretty soon, but we definitely have to get down a little lower before we do that. All right. So other than that, speed brakes are armed, and auto brakes are armed to level 1. You can see it's plenty of runway length there. You can see on the look right here, you can see it shows the runway over here to our right somewhere. Not sure why that is, but that's alright. It's not the end of the world. It is what it is. That's FSX for you, right? Okay, we're just about where we want to be on glide slope. There's no VASI lights, no PAPI lights or anything like that. We got just a little bit of a crosswind. I got to turn this volume up a little. I can barely hear that. There we go. All right, we're actually looking pretty good. We're going to have to reduce this descent rate here pretty soon, but that's all right. All right, about to deliver some cargo. I know the Virtual Air Force will be happy. Okay, let's go ahead and reduce that rate of descent just a little bit. We want to get it down to around 700 feet per minute. Looking really good.
400.
Bring in some throttle now. We don't want to go too slow.
300.
There we go. Looking good. Right where I want to be. Look at that. On the money.
200.
Perfect. I love it. All right, let's listen for the rest.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
20.
Floated just a little. Just a little. That's alright though. Get some reverse in there. nice, huh? Considering the airplane didn't actually know where the runway was, we didn't have any actual approach charts. I've never flown into this airport before, and we had to hand fly most of the way in. And the auto throttle, for whatever reason, cut out when I was up over the mountains over here. It just stopped working. I have no idea why. So I would say that was what we like to call a success. We're going to go over here and park somewhere. I wish my track IR was working so that I could taxi a little bit easier, but such is life sometimes. We're just going to have to make do with what we got. Don't want to slow down too much. Come on. There you go. The old girl don't want to move. So we got 112,000 pounds of cargo for these guys. Let's go ahead and get these flaps up now. Let's make sure that our spoilers are all the way up. VNAV, I tried to turn it off, but it stayed on for whatever reason. So the Virtual Air Force uses this air base here. And we are delivering cargo for them. So fantastic. I'm going to let this go just a little wide here because I'm going to park right here. And there is not a lot of room there. So we're going to use the old asymmetric thrust trick here. Turn it in nice and tight. There's no way it's going to be parked properly. I don't even know. I have a feeling on the real Air Force base this space is much larger. So we're not going to be in the parking space properly, but that's alright. Go ahead and bring her to a stop here. Make sure we don't go on the grass. Hopefully we didn't. Put the parking brake on. Flaps are just finishing coming up, so we can roll right into our, well, we never did our taxi checklist, did we? Transponder is supposed to go to standby. There it is. It's in standby now. Everything else we actually did take care of except for landing lights. Landing lights and now taxi lights can come off as well, so I messed up with that, but that's alright. Parking brake is set. ATC contact we don't need to worry about. APU generator 1 and 2 need to be on. In order for that to work, you have to have the APU on, which was the last thing on the taxi in checklist. So did we hit the, oh come on, that's really annoying. Those click spots are just right there. I mean, see that? There's like no, whatever. Anyway, while that's firing up, APU bleed will need to come on. We'll do that once the APU is running. Engine bleeds will all go off, but we got to have APU bleed on first. Hydraulic pumps will go off. Yeah, we just need to wait for that APU to fire up. So let's just give that just a second here. Go ahead and cancel those. Let's see. Where's the APU information? Should be under electric, right? Yep. Let's pop that up and see if we can see it. APU, yep, doesn't show anything for APU at the moment. Big shocker. That's right though. Once these lights come on, we'll pop on the APU and the APU generators 1 and 2, and then we'll just take care of business from there. It was interesting coming in here. I actually, it was a neat little flight. I enjoyed it. I like landing at an airport that's unfamiliar to me, but you guys, boy, I'll tell you what, that's no joke. Trying to make sure you get in there properly. There we go. Make sure you get in there properly. When you don't know the area, right? Okay, engine bleeds can go off at this point. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're all off. Engine hydraulic pumps can all come off. That's these guys right here. Off, 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 and off. Fuel control switches can all get cut off at this point. We've got to change views to do that. And you're supposed to go in order, I think, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? I don't remember. We'll go 4, 3, 2, 1 and hope that we did it right. Where are we at here? Seatbelts sign can go off. We can turn those off. You still can't smoke, but we turn the sign off. Beacon lights can go off. That is, let's see, beacon. Oh, that's the one all the way over here. And that is pretty much it. Ground power if available. APU bleed. Okay, so now we go into the final shutdown, which we're just going to roll right into it here. So APU bleed, you turn off if ground power is available, and the APU yaw dampers can come off. There we go. Hydraulic demand switches can all come off. That's these ones. Nope, that's these ones. Oh, I was supposed to turn pressure switches off. Whatever. Continuous ignition goes off. We never turned it on. It's not part of the landing checklist. So auto start can go off. There we go. IRS system, we can turn those off. We're just going to leave them as are. Utility left and right goes off. 1 and 2. Cross feeds says all on. Not sure why that is, but they're all on now. Window heat can go off. That was our little warning for the cross feed because we don't actually need it. Anti-ice is all off. Cargo heat is off. Trim air comes off. Upper and lower recirc, gasper all come off. Packs 1 through 3 all off. 1, 2, make sure we hit the click spot, and 3. Isolation switches left and right go off. And generator control switches can go off as well, which is these ones here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. TCAS is already in standby. Ground power off. Basically now we just shut everything down. So APU bleed goes off. APU goes off. Battery goes off. And we are completely shut down, ladies and gentlemen, back to cold and dark where we belong. So let's go ahead and close out our 8 cars real quick. I almost forgot it again, believe it or not. Where are you at? There you are, 8 cars. Everything's off. Everything's as it should be. Cruising altitude was good. Flight time was 49 minutes, 23 seconds. What was our landing rate? Doesn't it show our landing rate on here? Landing minus 141. That's not bad. We did float it a little bit. I don't like floating it, but we did. Whatever. We floated a little bit. We had tons of runway to work with. So we'll finish. File the PIREP. And it has been filed. This will reset, and now we are good to go. So we can close that out. We can close this out, hop on over to the website, take one real fast look, and then we will wrap this one up. Alright, here we are back on the website. As you can see, the flight is already gone from our bid list here. It hasn't shown up here yet. It has to be approved. I don't think we'll have any issues with that. Remember, in order to actually complete the mission, we do have to fly this return flight. I don't think I'm going to record that. I just don't see the point. I mean, it is part of the mission. Don't get me wrong, but it's literally just the flight back. There's no cargo. There's no anything. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I may or may not make an episode out of it. Once I decide, you'll know, because if I make the episode, then you'll see it pop up there. So until next time, well, we can't do that yet. We always got to say it. If you haven't taken the opportunity yet, please subscribe to my channel. I do appreciate all my subscribers. We were up to 727 last time I looked. So that's very exciting. I appreciate all the support from every one of you. Get some fantastic comments down there. And it's just good stuff. I really appreciate it. So thank you, every one of you who's subscribed to my channel. You can follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. I did get a new Twitter follower today. I got a little email on that. That's like the first one I've had since I started the Twitter account. So thank you very much to my new follower. And if you want to, now on my Twitter account, every time I post a new video, it automatically puts a tweet out there or whatever it's called. So you know, you can always follow me on Twitter, and you can like us on Facebook. I don't really post anything on Facebook right now because, you know, there's not that many people who really look at my Facebook. You all go to my YouTube channel, which makes sense. So there you have it. As always, folks, good times. Keep the blue side up unless otherwise instructed by ATC, and I will see you next time.